What is going on, everybody? It is me, your boy Flash Jones, back again with another video. And in this one, we're doing a layout update. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right on into this video. So, as I said, this one is a layout update video. And as you guys can see, there's been lots of changes here in the old DSF area since our last video. If I can, I'll try to drop in a little picture showing what it looked like in the last video to now. But if I can't, you have to catch that on Instagram. Nevertheless, this is the new diesel service facilities, right? Okay, we have 8 tracks here, right? Wow, array. Okay, we have tracks 1 through 8. Obviously those 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 being the one with concrete ties. That just is how I made it. Concrete ties wasn't necessarily there for any special purpose. It probably would have made more sense to place that somewhere in the middle. That way I would have always known what number track that was in comparison to the others. Probably like make it number 5 or number 6 or something like that. That way I didn't have to guess and count. But one thing that'll help me out and either help anyone else out looking at the layout at some point later on is that tracks 4 and 5 extend about a half a car more than 6, 7, and 8. 6, 7, and 8 here are planned to be more of your diesel ready tracks, your tracks where you can get gassed up, get sanded up, get the windows clean, get the cabs cleaned out for the crews. Those are going to be those tracks, 6, 7, and 8. 4 and 5, their main purpose is going to be obviously storage for locomotives, but they're going to have a side purpose. Whereas if the carmen at this particular yard, at this particular railroad, if they need to service some rail cars, they can ask the diesel service foreman if they can get on loan tracks 4 and 5, which is why they are a little bit longer to designate that. They can hold a little bit more cars, but there's also quite a bit of a gap between 3 and 4, and then a little bit more of a gap, if you will, between 5 and 6, to give the carmen ample space to place their equipment and to get up and move around cars without having to worry about diesel engines rolling right beside them within 5 or 6 feet. They would have a little bit more space. And obviously when that time comes and I get this paved up, painted up, and all divvied up, if you will, that will reflect that. Okay, now you could also be wondering, man, that's a lot of track, a lot of engines that'll be parked there. You know, when you turn your layout on, all these engines are going to turn on and just suck power right out of the layout. Well, I would have to tell you that you're wrong. If you follow me on Instagram, you would see that I did make up this hefty little control board, or switch panel, if you will. And all of these tracks can be individually powered. Now my layout is not on, obviously, or you'd hear motors firing up. But all these tracks 1 through 8 have the complete ability to be turned on and isolated from the rest of the layout and the rest of diesel service. So obviously if I'm doing some programming on the main, I can't have any other locomotives out on the main because it all is still connected back to the main bus. I don't have a dedicated programming track with the smart booster, dumb booster setup, which I think NCE probably dropped the ball with that. They probably easily could have made space to put that on there. You tack on another $20 because you know companies, you got to make their money, even though it only costs them $3-4 to put it in, you know, and charge us an extra $20 to have that. But that would have been an absolutely amazing thing to have added on to their system. It would have made it not future proof, but it would have made it a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, robust. Maybe that'll be the purpose here of this outer track, the one with the concrete ties. Maybe if I can figure out how to get it where I can isolate it away from the smart booster and have my power cab wired to it. I don't know if I'd be willing to do that. That might not really be a good idea, just because they'd be tied together, and I don't want power going to and from, you know, the power cabs of the SB5 when they're not talking to each other. That could get kind of dicey, I feel. But nevertheless, here we are. Diesel surfaces in. We'll go all the way around the layout here to give you a little peek. I'm pretty sure last you guys seen, I did not have any switches in. So I've gotten all my switches in. I've gotten tortoise switch machines powered, or not powered yet, but I had them all installed to all of the mainline switches. I did make some changes to what I was going to do with everything. As far as where my switches are and what they're going to be doing and where they're going to be at, as you guys can also see, I have my signals out, and at some point here I plan to start getting some of them installed in places where I know that they won't get bumped and where I feel like they'll be secured at. Here is the ladder for diesel service. Now obviously it's not the most tidy here. This is one of the main work areas, but you have your, for tracks 4 through 8, they all tie back in up here, right in front of this control point. Here is going to be called CP Champagne, control point Champagne. So essentially up here at Champagne, you have your yard ladder lead or your diesel service ladder lead, and you can kind of see down in here, I have the insulating, sorry about that, Jocelyn. I have the insulated rail joiner on my hot rail that is tied back to that switch panel that I showed you, and just a standard regular rail joiner there on the inside rail on my my constant. And all these switches here are those new Walthers track switches on mainline switches. I think these are number 4s. Yeah, these are number 4s, and these are the ones with the snap action switches or points. So this entire yard, this entire ladder lead for 4 through 8 has these new switches in them, because working over here where I know I'm going to have signals at, I want there to be as little action as possible as far as reaching, you know, into the layout to do anything where a signal can be bumped. I'm going to have some protection set up for myself and for anyone who comes down here to help people not bump into signals. But it's going to help a lot that, you know, all of these switches down here are easily just, you know, push, pull, and they throw. I could put in some ground throws, but I don't really feel like ground throws are necessarily needed with snap action switches, because all of them can be thrown when a motor goes through them. They can just, kind of like a spring switch for the railroads, they just trail through it, and it pushes the points over, and it stays. Kind of like a variable switch, actually, because a spring switch would pop back. Even if a motor were to go through and it would push the points over, it would snap back after the motor cleared. So this would be more of a variable flop through, run through switch, where it just flops over and stays, and it flops back if a train comes, you know, across the diverging route. Nevertheless, that's looking at 4 through 8, and then 1 through 3 has one snap action switch here on the inside for 1 and 2, and then to get between 1, 2, and then 3 is one of the older switches that I had, which is just a normal number 4. With these ones, I probably have to get a ground throw for this switch. But nevertheless, it all kind of funnels itself back. I'll kind of give you a wide view of it. Kind of all funnels itself back over here towards where this is going to be called CP Control Point Bandini. And it kind of all funnels back together here right in front of CP Bandini, and then from then on in, and might I add, I do have my switches in my my number 6 Walthers mainline double crossover. I do have this one in and glued down for CP Bandini. As you guys can see, I've got an engine there. I've been testing my block detection to get them all, talking with the LCC to get that all working correctly. Proceeding on, We're looking at the back two mains. You're gonna have that'll be main 1 in the back where the train is at, and then main 2 is the inside track. That's gonna stay true for the entire layout. For some reason in the beginning when I was making this layout, I was gonna do mains 1, 2, 3, 4. That is completely out of the window because it's if you were to think of this layout as a continuous loop around the room, not turning back on itself, you would not have mains 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'd have main 1 and 2, and then just go around the room. So although the layout does turn back on itself and it kind of parallels itself in many places, in order to keep the track straight in my mind, I thought about this layout as if it was going around the perimeter of the room. So mains 1 and 2 would always stay constant. So main 1 is where the train is at. Main 2 is vacant. Main 3 is where these Amtrak cars are. And main 4, wow, I did it again. Main 1 is where the train is at. Main 2 is vacant. Main 2, where the Amtrak cars are, is main 2, and main 1 is the inside track here, where there is no train at, where these the Atlas signals are at. I actually just finished this video. That video will come out ahead of this one here in probably a couple days from today. Today is and then I didn't even tell you guys, this is your July update for 2022. Today is July 5th. I'm making this video for you guys here to get you guys kind of caught up to where I am. Okay, proceeding on. All of this was already kind of completed. Though it's a minor thing, I guess I can go ahead and show you. I did go ahead and make some cuts in the rail to get block detection set up. So all of my blocks, all of them, for all the control points, for all of the main track segments, they're all wired and completed for block detection. All they have to do now is be inserted. I think the only ones that have to be done now is control point winner and control point Amar. Those two, and then the segments for mains 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 on this end have to be inserted into the block detector board in order for that to be completed. And then I'll probably work on getting power to turn out some tortoises, however you pronounce it. Nevertheless, proceeding on, let's call this, so this would be east. Proceeding on east, we get down here towards CP winner, control point winner. And I do have, again, my mainline switch glued in. I do have one of the previous switches that I have for my old layout, as in just Walther's number 8. That's going to go to Winter Yard, which is going to be back and over in that area. Control point winner, 2 number 6 or 4 number switch double crossovers here, and then control point Amar back there, just a single 1 or 2 westbound crossover there, and then the signals that will be there to govern movement in and out of this control point will be there. And then before the video, came down this morning to do some testing, take some measurements to see what I could fit back in that corner as far as signals. So that is where we are right now. Again, I do also have, you guys can kind of see it, I have the tortoise. I have them all, these all wired up and configured. There we go. Okay. Act like it didn't want to go for a minute there. There we go. Okay. All good. Had me worried there for a second. Nevertheless, that's kind of where we are. Kind of swing over here. And by the way, if you guys will hear a little bit of water kind of draining, no one's taking a leak anywhere. That's just the old sump pump. Nevertheless, I did get a new UTP panel in off Amazon. Grabbed that. So now I have a little bit more freedom and mobility with my cab, my throttle. And now we're going to take just a really quick look, because I'm going to be making some changes here to my LCC network. Okay, this is just the start of my network. Take a look here under the layout. you guys can see the vast array of wires, and I'm doing my best to keep them as neat as possible. I'm utilizing zip ties and obviously a little bit of the insulation tape to keep things organized. I don't have a lot of this is not permanent and it's not zip tied down because I don't want to start crimping things down and solidifying them if I plan on making changes. So down there are the RR circuits block detector 8, so BOD block occupancy detector BOD 8s for 8 blocks for a total of 24 blocks. And that far left one there is an SMD8, a star motor driver for 8 turnouts. And after conversing with RR circuits and even some other LCC experts out there, you can, to one output of that SMD8, wire your entire crossover. So instead of having, like, because obviously you can have one crossover, one, a push button, if you will, or even one output to drive just this crossover from main 2, and then another output to drive the crossover from main 1 going into 2. And you can have, 2 outputs, 2 lines to 2 tortoises, or you can have one output to both tortoise motors to throw the entire crossover in one fell swoop. Because there's never a situation where in a railroad where if running correctly, you're going to throw one end of a turnout and not the other, because you're going to have a train trying to cross over into a switch that is rigid, which is a non-run-through switch, and you're going to damage the entire switch machine out on the main line of a real railroad. So with one fell swoop, you press a button, you either in a computer or you use a push button, and you throw the entire crossover with one button. Now obviously I'll have one line dedicated to the yard lead for to getting into the yard here at Champaign. There will be one dedicated for that. So out of one SMD8, I can drive my entire layout as far as tortoises go. One output. We're talking outputs. The SMD8 has 8 outputs. Okay, so 1, 2, main 1 to main 2, 3, main 2 to main 1, 4. Over here at CP Winner, mains 1 to main 2, 5, mains 1 to main 2, 6, main 1 into Winter Yard, 7, and then CPMR, your crossover 1 to 2 westbound, 8. And that completes the outputs on the SMD8, which is that guy there. The 3 block detectors, and then I have 3 signal LCCs. This one hurt when I found this out. I thought I only needed 12. Turns out I need 16 of these signal LCCs to complete this layout. So this is going to be a work in progress, and obviously these things are built where you can add them at your own time and your own discretion, so that you don't have to purchase everything all at once. I mean, it's nice if you can do that, but that's a pretty penny. And although the wife is really giving me some freedom with my layout, I just don't feel comfortable spending that amount of money with the times that we're living in here in America. So although I have the green light, I'm going to moderate myself and make sure that the house, the family, the children, and of course the wife, all of our needs are taken care of before I start trying to pad in my hobby, my passion in this layout. Nevertheless, I am thinking about putting in a separate hub. So this is what I call a hub. Now, it's not an LCC term, at least not officially, but I call this a hub. A hub for me is where I have a brain of operations. Obviously, my DCC system is here. My LCC system is here. This consists of 3 nodes and some daughter cards, I think they call them, where the output, like this LCC signal LCC has an output driver or an input output driver that it has 8 lines, where it goes down in there where you get your 8 lines, your 8 block detectors, 8 lines that funnel down to that bot 8. This is one hub. Now I'm probably going to run some Ethernet wire around the top of this room, or around the layout, however I decide to do it, to get another hub somewhere back in this area. I don't know where I'm gonna do it yet exactly, but I am more than likely going to put one in, because I don't want to have to run signals. And I'll show you guys this right quick, kind of from the video that I just put out or just made. I don't want to have to try to run signal wire that are tiny like this, and it would be my Cat 5 cable, but I don't want to run, you know, because you need 4 wires. And so that for just, you know, a set of heads, for 2 heads, I have to use an entire you know, section, if you will, that Cat 5, because or your Cat 6 cable, because it's got your 2, 4, 6, 8 wires in it. So I would literally have to run several wires from the back of that layout, the back of the layout, to get that to run all the way back around down to my brain of operations in this hub here. And that's just too much. Too much wire and too much headache trying to figure out what's what, who's who, and where is it going, and yada yada yada, and da. So chances are I'm going to just run some Ethernet wire to make a new hub back in this area somewhere, just to keep it a little bit more neat, but also to get the nodes closer to where they need to be. So guys, with that, again, you see the signals, I have them out for planning. Again, like I said, the wife did give me the green light to go and make some additional purchases, but I'm going to throttle myself on that. I don't want to move too hastily. So again, this is where we are for July. A lot has been done. A whole lot has been done. I've gotten diesel servicing. I've gotten my main line 100% complete so trains can run. I have my LCC network started. I have the signals that are going to be placed in, pulled out, and placed around the layout so that I can get a good idea of where I am. My block detection is complete. All I can do is wire them up. The next step for us is probably going to be to configure the new hub. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this. Here's another look at that diesel service, the 8 tracks that we have for them, the throat, CP Bandini in the back, CP Champagne here in the front. That's all I got for you guys. So, until next time, guys, it may be a few months. It's really nice here where I live at. The weather's nice. Kids are loving being outside. I love being outside with them, except for when it's too hot out, because it's been like 100. That's not my cup of tea. But nevertheless, I got to give the family some time. I can't give my time and devotion to this when we need to be outside and enjoying the good sunshine that God's provided for us. So till next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's your boy Flash Jones. Till next time, keep it on the rails. Keep it on the rails. It's your boy Flash Jones. I'm out.